everyone. Welcome to another episode of Simply Nerdy. This is your host, Steven. I'm joined today by David, Anthony, and Lisa. And today we are talking about Hogwarts Legacy. Just to begin, I just wanted to recap everything we know about it up to this point, at least in regards to the story. So you are a new student at Hogwarts. You are starting late as a fifth-year student. You have a unique ability to manipulate powerful ancient magic, and you will need to find out why the forgotten magic has returned and who wants to use the power to destroy wizard kind.
Sounds pretty standard, but
I'm just wondering, my two thoughts were, of course, you're the most specialist of the special people, but in a video game, if you're the main character, you want to enjoy yourself, so that makes sense. So that was thought number one. And thought number two was, isn't technically all magic really old?
this is an even older magic.
Yes, exactly. Older magic. Do not question the ancient ways.
This is why I was saying that, my immediate response was that the story seems pretty basic, pretty standard. Maybe that's the word I used, but I'm not interested in the game because of my impressions of the plot. There's a lot of other things that are, attracting my interest.
I think we can both agree that we are both excited for the combat, maybe. Are you excited for the combat system that they introduced? Because 16 spells in your arsenal at once seems pretty awesome.
I gotta say, if they didn't put Sectum Sempra in there, then the game is a bust.
There you go.
Just kidding. I'm kidding.
Deluxe edition only. I'm just kidding.
But Lisa, one thing we know about this game is that it's taking place in the 1800s, and we know that
that's true.
The Half-Blood Prince invented Sectum Sempra.
Yes, you're right. Okay,
It will not
it was
be
taking
there.
place in the 1800s.
Yes, this is pre-Harry Potter, years and years.
Yeah, I don't feel like I know a lot of its mechanics at this point, but I remember being impressed by how active and complex it seemed in the trailer that we saw. It looked like they were using spells to toss objects at people and send blasts of magic at their foes and do all sorts of other stuff. It just seemed like it was going to be delightfully action-oriented with lots of depth to its systems, and I'm really excited to see how that pans out, because I feel like one of the things that has never been strong with Harry Potter games in the past is its combat. I feel like in every game in the past, it's, in this context, the game will have you use this spell when you press left click, or whatever, and that's it.
Yep. It's basically a cooldown system. So you have your R2 button on your controller. You tap it to do a generic attack. And when you hold R2 down, it activates your face buttons to be different spell types. So you can have there's one map to your triangle, your square, your circle, and your X button. And then you can tap that spell and he'll do it like Anthony said, like the throw up spell. And then before you can use it again, it has a cooldown timer on it. And then as it's cooling down, you just start tapping the R2 button again. And again, you do all these different generic shots after that. But then you can have up to 16 spells mapped to those 4 face buttons at a time. And you can rotate through them.
Are there 16 spells in all, or is that just all that you can fit on your face at the time?
That's all you can fit on your face at a time. There is a lot more. I don't know if they said exactly how many spells are in the game. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, I do know there's more than just 16.
Maybe if we were talking about some sort of Mistborn game, then 16 would just be auspicious, but
not Harry Potter. You heard it here first.
As long as we don't include any of the god medals.
Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Enemies have a color, like a shield around them with the different colors. All your spells are color coded. To take down their shield, you need to use a spell with that same color. So you have to use that same color of spell to get rid of that shield, then do different spells to do your attacks on the enemies. There's dodge mechanics. You can dodge spells. You can block spells. It just looks so good. It looks so good. They really thought through this combat. It's probably, I mean, not probably, because again, going back to Anthony's point, the combat in Harry Potter games has never been its strong suit. So this is going to be, well, I presume this game is going to have the best combat system in any previous Wizarding World entry.
I'm kind of assuming that there is some sort of like character personalization thing. Is that true, or is your character like, so like, no, it's not like hard-coded character?
No, you can customize them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hopefully that doesn't mean that you feel like some sort of onlooker.
Yeah.
I feel like it's hard to write around a customizable character sometimes, but hopefully they do it well.
I'm not personally a huge fan of character creation. Like, I prefer characters that are like written to be part of the story, but like Link, obviously, in Breath of the Wild. But I mean, I played Skyrim, and that's one of the games where you can create your character, and I made myself look stupid. I regretted it.
Did you do it on purpose, or did you just decide later on that you did?
No, I mean, I didn't like make him look like a clown, but like one of the options is to like be a cat person. And I was like, well, I don't care what the human face looks like, so I'll just be a cat. And then the rest of the time I was like, in cutscenes I was a cat, and I was like, can't take this seriously.
Hilarious. Oh my gosh.
If I played this game, I probably would use a lot of default settings.
I am of the opinion that it's hard to make customizable characters feel like they have a really deep part in the story, and I don't love that. But then again, I also, for some reason, really get into the character customization when I have to do it. Like with Monster Hunter Rise, I took like freaking 3 hours, and it was a freaking nightmare. But I was like, holy crap, I made such a cool looking character.
That's crazy. No, I always try to make my character look like me. I'm really bad at it. I'm terrible at it. I spend time at it, trying to make it look like me until I get bored, and then I'm like, all right, forget it. Let's just finish up. And we're good. Any other aspects of this game that anyone's excited about?
I've been doing a little bit of reading up on the game, and there's a couple things that were stated that kind of sound exciting. So one of the things that I think they already told us this in the trailer, but it was nice to see it reinforced, is the game is going to have an open world approach to the activities you can do. It sounds kind of exciting to be able to explore all of Hogwarts, and then also it's, you know, I mean, I guess I don't know how far you can go, but they were saying that you can visit places like the Forbidden Forest and Hogsmeade, and there's going to be some new locations as well. One thing I am a little bit nervous about is it does talk about you'll be attending classes and learning spells and stuff, and I'm like, okay, well, how does that look then? Is it truly open world? Because if there are classes, that would suggest a schedule of some sort. So am I limited to how long or when, you know, like when I'm allowed to go explore? I'm kind of curious how that's going to work out.
That's what I'm thinking, unfortunately.
The classes are like side quests. You like trigger the Defense of the Dark Arts side quest class, and then you complete the quest and you learn a spell or something.
But what I think would be hilarious is if, like, the school existed independent of your character, and by that I mean the game was just like, classes are happening at these days at these times. If you don't show up, the class still happens.
That's like a permadeath.
Totally do that.
I feel like it would be, because otherwise it just starts to feel, you know, like
you miss a lesson, you miss out on learning that spell.
Sometimes
Forever.
you leverage this in games where you're like, oh, I mean, that person is literally hanging off that cliff, but I know that they'll be fine until I go talk to them, because I am the main character. But it would be so great. Let's not use the cliff metaphor from now on. It would be so great if it wasn't like, oh yeah, the class depends on you to start. It will just go, and you can just not be there, you fool. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe if that's how they handled it, they would have like a looping schedule or something like that.
Yeah.
Like the class will come back around, and few days or something.
Or you could use the time turner.
Oh yeah. Oh, I like that one.
They didn't have a lot of blurbs on their official website about the progression system, but they did mention that there's going to be things like leveling up systems. There's going to be things you can do to improve offensive and defensive capabilities, and also like accessories. So it sounds like it's going to be a well-realized RPG system. It sounds like there's going to be kind of a skill tree system that sounds exciting. These are all those check all the boxes that I like. So
skill trees are pretty great.
I love skill trees.
Yeah. So one of the impressions that came to mind when I read that and kind of connected it with what I know about it being an open world and a lot of freedom of options and things like that, is it suddenly struck me that it almost feels like this game is like a Harry Potter answer to Elden Ring. Now, I'm not sure that I would say it's necessarily comparing in terms of potential popularity or quality necessarily, although it does look excellent to me. But it just suddenly struck me, like you have, because it talked about how not only is there a lot of options, a lot of leveling and growth and progression and stuff like that, but also ways that you can kind of customize based on the choices you make, what type of, as it said, witch or wizard you want to be. So that just suddenly struck me like, that sounds an awful lot like the system in Elden Ring, where you have all these different potential builds you could go for, and you can just experiment with them. It's a fairly favorable comparison in terms of, I guess, just saying that it reminded me of that, because I know I've complained about some aspects of Elden Ring on this on our channel before, but ultimately I thought it was a great game, and it just seemed like a solid thing when I realized, this sounds like it's kind of doing some similar stuff. It looks gorgeous. It looks like it's going to play really well. It sounds like it's got some deep systems, and those are all the checkboxes that I care about most. So I'm excited. I have no idea where this is going to fit in my backlog, because it's starting to get even more. It's getting more ridiculous with every passing day.
The PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC version is going to be released February 10th, but the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One versions are coming out April 4th, and the Nintendo Switch version comes in last place on July 25th. So with that in mind, are you going to get it, and which platform are you going to get it on?
Well, that makes it
depends on when you get to play it, right?
It's a little easier for me. I'm not getting it in February, and then I only have PlayStation 4 or Switch. So I was going to say, as far as if I'm getting it, it's not a day one for me. It's one of those kind of games where I want to see reviews. If everybody says it's something extra special, then I'll start seriously considering it. But
for my part, I don't think I'm going to get it day one either. Not because I'm not excited for it, but just because it's basically the same motivation that David has. I'm apparently less willing to acknowledge it with my wallet than David is. but in this case, it does look like it's going to be pretty gargantuan. So, my primary, so it's my backlog is getting to the point where even the games I want to play like right now that are at the top of my list are still taking turns. Let's see, I have Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Fire Emblem Engage, Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion, and I think there's more in there. Those are the big ones. Yeah, and those are all the top priority ones. So I think I'm going to wait just for that basis, and then yes. but I'll say that I think unless it suddenly unless the reviews come out unfavorably, I'm probably going to get it at some point.
I think I'm probably on the same fence as David. I'm kind of like, I'm going to see reviews. If people say it's awesome, then I might look a little more into it. But currently my interest is just kind of Oh, that's a cool thing that's happening over there. I don't feel the need to go see it right now.
I'm going to hop in, though, and say one thing that I read on the official website is that the story was not written by Rowling. It sounds like they've collaborated with her to make sure that they're keeping continuity proper, or at least, how they're building the world, but it sounds like they themselves are the ones that made the story.
That's kind of interesting. To be honest, now probably what I'll do is it'll come out, and I'll look up reviews and stuff, and I'll look up wikis about, like, the beginning details of the story and see if I find it interesting.
She could also watch my live stream. But yeah, I totally will be live streaming this as soon as I'm able to play it. All right, so I want to know if any of you, if you remember Pottermore back in the day, were any of you sorted into a house? And if you were, are you going to use the same house that you were assigned to in Pottermore? Because I will be.
So, I mean, stop being so secretive. What house is it, Steve?
Hufflepuff.
Hey!
Hold on, though. Do you
I saw
get
that
to?
coming.
You did? Oh, there
Do
you
you
go.
not get sorted in this game? Do you not
get sorted, but they made it sound like you had
A choice.
They don't want people asking for a refund if they didn't get sorted in the house they wanted to.
Probably.
Slytherin.
No, I'll be in Hufflepuff. Hufflepuff. So what about you guys?
Ravenclaw.
Ooh.
Yeah, so Anthony,
makes sense.
the answer is yes. He's going to use the same one that he got on Pottermore.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were answering the question of what house we got on Pottermore. But, I mean, I like Ravenclaw.
I don't think I ever did the Pottermore quiz or any quiz, but I'm heavily influenced by my childhood memories and of Gryffindor being the best. So I'd probably choose that.
Oh, yes.
You little elitist. No, I'm just kidding.
It's not very secretly purported, made the best.
When I took the Pottermore quiz, which I've taken several times, I got a different result every time, but the first result I got was Slytherin, so.
Dang, we have each house in here. What did you get the other times? I'm curious now. What did you get the other times?
So, first time I got Slytherin, second time I got Gryffindor. Third time I took so on Pottermore, so there's a pool of questions. And on Pottermore, you take a subset of the questions, and after answering part of that set, it will be like, no, that one. But somebody compiled all the questions and put them all on a quiz site. So I took that quiz the last time. And that time, I got a 50-50 split of Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff. So I'm just
what the heck, Lisa?
Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go with the first one, I guess.
Lisa's going to be able to pick whatever house she wants because she belongs in all four of them.
I'm going to pick on based on the common room. That's real strat, guys.
That's fair.
I have to say that I do think the game has a good chance to be really good. I'm going to be surprised if the reviews come out and everybody's like, yeah, this isn't a good game. It looks quality. So I imagine the reviews will be positive, and I'll end up adding it to my wish list for someday in the future.
Well, you heard it here first. Thanks so much, guys, for listening. If you like this video, please give us a like, and please subscribe to our channel because we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers this year. So any subscriber will absolutely help us out. And please make sure the notification bell is on so you are notified whenever a new video goes up. And yeah, we'd love to hear what you think as well. Let us know down in the comments below if you're going to pick up Hogwarts Legacy and what house you're going to join. We'd love to know because Hufflepuff is where it's at. Anyway, until next time, guys, keep it nerdy.